We love these people, and we're going to be back, and we're going to help. And the job that everybody has done in terms of first responder and everybody has been incredible. And by the way, that includes the people that live here, because you see the people immediately getting back to work to fix up their homes.
President Trump visiting Naples, Florida today, surveying the damage caused by Hurricane Irma, meeting with local officials and first responders as Floridians look to rebuild their damaged towns. Joining me now is Anitere Flores, Republican state senator from Florida. She represents, among other areas, the entire Florida Keys. And, Senator, first of all, thank you very much for joining us. I don't know if you heard the president's press conference on Air Force One, but he said that it's possible that the Keys, or at least part of the Keys, was hit by a hurricane, a 5-category hurricane. So, I mean, it was the hardest hit of all. Parts of it just completely leveled. What's the latest on the Keys?
Well, first and foremost, thank you all so much for continuing to really put some faces to the stories that are coming out of the Florida Keys.
All we can.
The people in Monroe. Yeah, I mean, it's been incredible, and the outpouring of support across the nation has just been wonderful. What we've seen so far, I had an opportunity early on Tuesday, so just after the storm, to fly over and to actually touch down on Key West with the United States Coast Guard, and to see how this is a way where government is actually working very well together. Starting at the local level, the municipalities and the county of Monroe are all working very closely together to make sure that they can get people back in as quickly as possible. The state, of course, has played a very large role, but the federal government really has done just an amazing job. To think that just under 2 days after this Category 5 storm hit, that an aircraft carrier was just off the coast of Key West, being able to provide supplies, food, water, and the infrastructure. It's really been a good sign of the way that sometimes government does actually work.
And, you know, it wasn't included in my notes. I don't even know whether you're Republican or Democrat, but the fact is a lot of Democrats have been coming in and saying the same thing about the way the president has been working with local and state officials. Of course, you got a Republican governor, but you have a lot of Democratic state officials. Everybody is putting policy differences aside and working together on this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When I went over with the Coast Guard, I went with both Florida senators, one a Republican, Marco Rubio, and of course, and Bill Nelson, a Democrat. I myself am a Republican, but we represent people that are Republican, Democrat, independent, and this was a storm that didn't discriminate, of course. And so what we want to work on is, you know, step one is making sure that it is safe for people to get back into their homes and get back into
By the way, before
Florida
let me just interrupt if I can for a moment. Excuse me for doing so, but a lot of people outside of the state who have winter properties in Florida want to come back and check on those properties. When do you think it would be safe for them to do so?
Yeah, that's a great question. So far, Monroe County officials have said that if you own or live in a property that's up until mile marker 70, the Florida Keys is a small town in some places, so that's the way that we say our roads are by mile markers. So if you're in Key Largo, Tavernier, Isla Mirada, it's clear for you to get back in. South of Isla Mirada, the areas that have been hardest hit, names that we've been hearing, Cudjoe Key, Sugarloaf Key, Big Pine, Key West. It's the reason why it's not safe to get back yet. It's really a water issue. The roads have been cleared. Right. The State Department of Transportation has done a great job, but there's still some challenges when it comes to running water. And so that's why residents have not been able to come back in yet. But I know the folks are all working around the clock so that hopefully
that's a
within the next day or two.
Though, is it not? Because the aqueduct between Miami and the bottom of the Keys is full of holes now because of the storm, right?
Absolutely, especially that lower half. There are some holes in the aqueduct. Now, the good news is that that some folks in the lower Keys actually have been able to get some running water. So they're testing it out for those residents who stayed behind, those incredible resilient residents that did. And so we're hoping to be able to get the go-ahead in the next day or two to be able to go back in.
Wow.
For those that are watching, that we know, you're worried about your home, I can tell tell you I've been in constant contact with the local authorities. The sheriff has assured us that looting is virtually non-existent.
Right.
You know, they haven't had any arrests at all, so that's some really great news. People are concerned about their businesses as well. The commercial fishing industry, so when those of us across the country get to enjoy Florida lobster, stone crab, it comes from down there, where people are really anxious to be able to get back and check out to see what of their business they can salvage.
Right.